Persistence is the bridge between desire and accomplishment. Napoleon Hill emphasized that the ability to persist in the face of obstacles is often the single greatest predictor of success. Many individuals possess talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but without persistence, these qualities rarely translate into meaningful achievement. Effort alone is insufficient. Deliberate, sustained action is what produces results. Persistence is more than stubbornness. It is not blind repetition or meaningless effort. It is the conscious decision to continue acting toward a clearly defined goal, despite resistance, difficulty, or temporary failure. Those who succeed understand that each obstacle is not a signal to stop, but a test of commitment. The mind, when trained for persistence, learns to embrace challenges rather than fear them. One of the most powerful aspects of persistence is its compounding effect. Small, consistent actions, repeated over time, produce outcomes far greater than isolated bursts of effort. Just as drops of water carve canyons over centuries, steady action reshapes reality in ways that occasional intensity cannot. Persistence turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. The mental framework required for persistence involves clarity, belief, and emotional investment. Without a definite purpose, action can waver, and the mind becomes susceptible to distraction and doubt. But when a goal is clearly defined and emotionally charged, persistence becomes natural. It is no longer merely effort, it becomes the expression of belief and purpose. To understand persistence, one must redefine failure. Failure is often misinterpreted as an endpoint, a verdict on ability or character. Napoleon Hill insisted that failure is temporary, a feedback mechanism rather than a judgment. Every setback is a lesson. Every obstacle a chance to refine strategy and strengthen resolve. History provides countless examples. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the practical electric light bulb. Each failure brought insight and learning, yet he persisted because he viewed each attempt as progress, not defeat. Similarly, J.K. Rowling faced repeated rejection before publishing the Harry Potter series. Her persistence transformed rejection into a path toward unprecedented success. Failure becomes instructive only when viewed objectively. The person who reacts with despair internalizes it as proof of inadequacy. The person who persists sees it as information, a guide for adjustment and improvement. Temporary setbacks do not define destiny. Persistence does. Persistence also strengthens resilience. Repeatedly facing difficulties builds mental toughness, emotional discipline, and confidence. The individual learns that challenges are not personal attacks, but part of the process. Each obstacle overcome becomes evidence that one is capable of enduring and succeeding. A crucial aspect of this mindset is reframing obstacles as opportunities. When progress is blocked, the persistent mind asks, "What can I learn?" rather than, "Why me?" This shift transforms fear, frustration, and doubt into insight and motivation. Over time, the accumulation of small victories against resistance compounds into mastery. The greatest threats to persistence are not external obstacles, they are internal. Fear, procrastination, self-doubt, and laziness often sabotage progress long before external challenges appear. Napoleon Hill emphasized that persistence is a skill of the mind. Like a muscle, it strengthens with use and weakens when neglected. Fear is the most insidious barrier. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, and fear of the unknown paralyze action. Without mental training, a single negative thought can stop progress entirely. But persistent individuals recognize fear as temporary and illusory. They train the mind to act despite fear, gradually reducing its power. Doubt is another hidden enemy. The mind constantly questions ability, timing, and worthiness. When doubt dominates, action halts. The antidote is clarity of purpose combined with deliberate focus. A clear goal, backed by belief and emotional intensity, creates a momentum that doubt cannot easily interrupt. Persistence becomes the natural response to uncertainty. Internal resistance also manifests as procrastination. The mind seeks comfort, avoiding effort that requires sustained attention. Persistence counteracts this by embedding action into routine, creating daily habits that reinforce progress. Each small step, when repeated consistently, trains the subconscious to accept effort as normal. Gradually reducing internal resistance, persistence grows through deliberate practice. Each time one chooses action over avoidance, courage over fear, or effort over idleness, the mental muscle of persistence strengthens. Over time, the individual becomes increasingly capable of overcoming greater challenges. Small victories accumulate, building momentum and self-confidence. Napoleon Hill also emphasized that persistence is linked to flexibility. Obstacles do not always require brute force. Sometimes strategy must adjust. The persistent mind is disciplined yet adaptive, refusing to quit while intelligently navigating challenges. Persistence is therefore both steadfast and wiser, dynamic force that converts setbacks into forward movement. Persistence is often misunderstood as blind repetition. Many assume that to persist means to continue the exact same action regardless of results. Napoleon Hill clarified that true persistence is strategic. It involves continuous action toward a goal while remaining flexible in approach. Stubborn repetition without reflection can lead to frustration and stagnation. But persistence, combined with intelligent adjustment, becomes unstoppable. Every challenge presents an opportunity to refine methods. Obstacles do not signal failure. They provide information about what is not working. A persistent individual analyzes these moments carefully, asking critical questions. What can I change without abandoning my purpose? How can I approach this differently? What resources or knowledge am I overlooking? This analytical approach turns setbacks into stepping stones. Flexibility and persistence requires emotional control. Frustration and impatience often lead to hasty decisions or abandonment. Napoleon Hill stressed that mental calmness and clarity are essential during adversity. By maintaining composure, the mind can identify patterns, detect opportunities, and respond intelligently. A strategic approach preserves momentum even when external conditions are unfavorable. Moreover, persistence with adjustment develops problem-solving ability. The mind becomes conditioned to view obstacles as puzzles rather than barriers. Each failure becomes a lesson, each setback a chance to innovate. Inventors, entrepreneurs, and leaders often owe their breakthroughs to the combination of relentless persistence and adaptive strategies. Thomas Edison, for example, approached the invention of the light bulb with both relentless experimentation and constant adjustment, learning from each failure until success was inevitable. Strategic persistence also strengthens self-confidence. By repeatedly overcoming obstacles through careful adaptation, individuals internalize a belief in their capacity to endure challenges. This psychological resilience becomes self-reinforcing. The more problems you solve through persistence, the stronger your confidence grows, and the more capable you become of tackling increasingly difficult challenges. In practice, strategic persistence means defining clear goals, tracking progress, and being willing to pivot methods without compromising the objective. It requires a disciplined mind capable of separating temporary failure from permanent defeat. This mindset is what allows individuals to persist through storms, delays, and criticism without losing sight of the ultimate goal. Finally, strategic persistence enhances creativity. Constraints and obstacles often trigger innovation when the mind refuses to accept defeat. The persistent, adaptive thinker learns to view limitations as opportunities for creative solutions. In this way, persistence becomes not just a tool for endurance, but a mechanism for continuous improvement and innovation. Persistence becomes truly powerful when it is embedded into daily habits. Napoleon Hill emphasized that consistent, purposeful action, even in small steps, compounds over time to produce extraordinary results. Daily routines are the visible proof of commitment. They show that goals are non-negotiable. Even when motivation fades, each day should include actions aligned with your ultimate objective, whether it is learning new skills, planning, or practicing essential tasks. What may seem small or repetitive builds the foundation for long-term success. Discipline is critical. By structuring your day, prioritizing meaningful tasks, and reducing distractions, persistence becomes automatic rather than a constant struggle. Patience is equally important. Progress is often invisible at first, and many quit too soon. Daily commitment trains the mind to endure, trusting that consistent effort will compound into achievement. Emotional connection to goals amplifies persistence when purpose and belief are clear. Even mundane tasks feel meaningful. Ultimately, persistence through daily habits transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Consistency, discipline, and purpose-aligned action turn obstacles into opportunities and ensure that long-term success is inevitable.